So, with folk music being your theme, and most folk music tells stories. So, is there a particular story behind maybe one of your songs that you like to share?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Um, the song that I wrote called "It's Not What It Was." It actually came from a dream that I had. My three daughters were going off to college, and I had twins, and so we had three children in 2 years. We had my oldest daughter, and then we had twins right after that. So, it's a scary time for a parent to send their kids off to college. Crazy things happen at college. And I had this dream that one of my daughters was on this train, and I was helping her with her bags, and she was getting on, and the train was pulling out of the station. It was like an old movie. The steam was rising, and as the train pulled out.
Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Silence with Arthur, Nikki Nicole, where you can unleash your inner voice. Breaking the Silence started with unleashing my voice, coming out of my shell. But as time passed by, the vision became more clearer. I wanted to shine the light on everyday people doing great things and be the platform for people to be themselves again, tell their stories, and heal from their scars. So I hope that you will enjoy this episode and you will continue to break the silence with me.
Hey, is it hard?
Welcome to another episode of Breaking the Silence, and I'm your host, Arthur Nikki Nicole, where you can unleash your inner voice. Man, season 5 is loading with some amazing people, and I'm so excited. I get excited every time I put somebody in the spotlight, especially the artists, because the artists, I love music. I love music. I don't care what type of music it is, I love music. So it always makes me so excited about putting an artist in the spotlight. And today, I have Mr. Daniel Keiser. I hope I said his name right. I really do. But he is a songwriter and he's also a singer. And he's had a lot of milestones in his life with music. When I was reading over his website, I was like, oh wow, he's done so many things. And he has an album coming out next year, 2025. So, after his countdown, please welcome Mr. Daniel Keiser to the Breaking the Silence platform. How you doing today?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being a guest on Breaking the Silence. It's because of you I can have this platform and shine this light on everybody. So tell us a little
Awesome.
bit that I didn't say about you already.
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Kaiser. It's German. I know a lot of people say Kaiser, but that's okay. I'm only a little bit German, but I have a German last name. Um, so, what would you like to know about my music? Because I'm a musician and I'm also an author. Um, but I guess we'll start with the music part. Um, I've been playing music my parents sent me for lessons since I was 9 years old. I played classical guitar, and they had all kinds of teachers, and I had a bluegrass teacher. I did the whole rock band thing when I was a teenager. So I've been playing for my whole life. And I was a school teacher, but I would always do gigs on the weekend. So I was always busy performing. So just recently, within the past 5 or 6 years, I got together the most talented musicians I could find. One being my drummer, his name is Bob Nemchik, who tons of experience, has been playing since he was a kid, like I have. And he belonged to a Grateful Dead cover band that toured all over the place, and then I added a piano player who was my sixth grade teacher when I was a kid. Believe it or not, he was a brand new teacher, and he is really the best piano player that I've ever met in my lifetime. And he has toured with the Rascals and has Felix Cavalieri, and he's had an amazing background in music. And then I added to that mix a woman named Susan Salmon, who is a multi-instrument musician. Her original instrument was piano, but then she moved to guitar, violin, mandolin when she was a young girl, and she really plays everything. And she is, and I don't exaggerate when I say she is the best musician that I've ever met in my lifetime, and I'm happy to have her join us. And I have a couple others that fill in once in a while, or do tracks on recordings for us. And we put our first album out in April last year. This past April is called Miles. And then Susan and I also put together an instrumental Christmas album, really being our second album, which is just all acoustic and electric guitar, mandolin, violin, all instrumental, no vocals. And then this album is coming out in March. I really don't have a name for it yet, but we're still in the process of recording it. And we've been touring all around. We've having a good time with it. It's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of fun. So yeah, so I think this group is we're right on for the time, and I'm so excited about it.
Nice.
We play like folk and folk rock music, lots of instruments, interesting melodies, interesting beats. So that's our gig.
So folk music being your theme, and most folk music tells stories. So is there a particular story behind maybe one of your songs that you like to share?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Um, the song that I wrote called "It's Not What It Was." It actually came from a dream that I had. My three daughters were going off to college, and I had twins, and so we had three children in 2 years. We had my oldest daughter, and then we had twins right after that. So, it's a scary time for a parent to send their kids off to college. Crazy things happen at college. And I had this dream that one of my daughters was on this train, and I was helping her with her bags, and she was getting on, and the train was pulling out of the station. It was like an old movie. The steam was rising, and as the train pulled out, she pressed her hand against the glass window, and the train pulled out, and I woke up thinking, what was that about? So immediately I grabbed my guitar and a pen, and I just started writing that song. It's Not What It Was. And then the lyrics tell the story from there about,
Wow.
and it could be for anyone where someone is leaving them and you're not sure if you're going to see them again. We have another
Yeah.
song called She's Got the Blues, and I have a co-lyric writer, a guy named Kirk Jarvis, who is a poet, and I read some of his poetry. I said, would you like to join up and write some songs together? And that Man, She's Got the Blues is about a woman who is a blues drummer, and the whole song is about her. And the men in the room, it's a woman who every man wants but nobody can have, but like, how could she be a blues drummer? But she's so talented, and it's based on really a true story of a woman drummer. And so that's another one. Yes, and our songs do tell a story. Most of them do, yeah.
They do, but I listened to that first song that you stated. Now I would have never knew that was the background of that song, because I listened to it twice
Mm.
trying to grasp the meaning. Wow.
Oh, cool.
So
Cool.
is that one of your favorite songs to perform?
Um, I think my favorite song to perform is the song Miles, which is a little bit more upbeat. And Miles is a song about getting older, but trying to get older with grace, and trying to enjoy your older years. And I think the lyrics to that, like the chorus says, are you staying young while you're growing old? Staying true to yourself, mind, body, and soul. Are you believing beyond your seeing eyes? Being all you can be and enjoying the miles. So it's putting a positive spin on getting older. Like we always see getting older as a negative thing, right? Oh, because none
Right.
of us want to get older, right?
No.
But you have more wisdom than you ever had before. There's things that you can do and the way you think that only maturity brings and experience brings, and that's what that song is about. One of my favorite lyric songs is one called "Give It to Me Straight," and it's a political song, and we have a couple of political songs, and it's probably the best lyrics I've ever written. And it's about constantly being lied to by our leaders and our politicians. And so the song "Give It to Me Straight," and it goes through a lot of things that are happening in this day and age. And we did an awesome video to that where we went to the Capitol right after that crazy January 6th riot. We went there, we filmed it right there where the barriers are still there around the Capitol building. We went to Washington, D.C. with a film crew that is a company called 11th Hour Productions, who Kirk Jarvis is the president of that company. And we filmed that, and that the words, I'm most proud of those lyrics out of all the songs we've written so far.
Nice. I love it. So how would you describe your music to someone that's never listened to your music? How would you describe it to
Mm,
them to make them to buy them in and say, stream my music?
right, that's a great question. I think the music is centered around what they call fingerstyle guitar. It's almost like a acoustic guitar, but a classical style of playing where you're finger picking. But within that, we bring other instruments. And so electric guitar is infused in that through Susan plays her Stratocaster, and there's a little bit of a crunch and an edge to her guitar. But we also bring in a violin or sometimes a mandolin into that. And then the piano player has a real blues feel to everything he does. So it's this folk music with hints of rock music, but has a flavor of blues in there because
Mm,
our piano player is his background is blues, R&B, Motown. That's his style. So when we mix these together, it just became this beautiful dish that's just I think is delicious when we're all hitting, when we're all
I
on.
agree. I agree. So I think
So
it's time for us to let them hear some of your music. So I'm gonna play a snippet. I'm gonna play the video of All Alone, though I think the way. So we're gonna
So
play a
that one
snippet.
is All Along the Watchtower. That's actually a Bob Dylan song that we covered, and we do it in a style I believe that no one else has. And yeah, that's a great one. Our creation is really the music around Bob Dylan's lyrics.
Okay. We're gonna I'm glad you described that for me. We're gonna play a snippet and give them a background of how y'all get down.
Okay.
Test one, test one. One, 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 one. the servants too. Outside in the cold distance, a wildcat did growl. The riders were approaching, and the wind began to howl. Yeah.
I've always wanted to play the guitar, and people tell me all the time, "Well, you play the piano." I've been playing the piano since I was 5. It's the same thing.
Hmm.
No,
That's how
the
I feel
same
about the
note.
piano. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
no,
could
it's not
do very little on the piano. I know my chords, but that's about it. Yeah,
that.
it's hard.
Right,
Hmm.
right. That piano player,
So
you
you got
right.
yeah, you got a taste of what I meant by Tony's bluesy sounding
Hmm.
piano, and Sue's gives a rock edge to the song. That's probably one of the rockier songs we do, besides Miles. And then yeah, so that was a good example of what we do.
So, what's been the highlight of your career so far in music?
Yeah, great question. There's been a couple, but we entered a contest that this guy Dan Tominski, who was a guitar player for Alison Krauss. He's a 14-time Grammy winner, and we entered this contest to be the opening act for his band. So at first, the other players in the band, they're like, "We'll never win." There's probably thousands of people entering their stuff in there, you know. So I said, "No, I want to enter some sample videos of our stuff, and we'll see what happens." And I get an email saying that we were in the top 3, and that this guy Dan Tominski was going to choose who would be the opening act for his show. So I said, "That's a victory right there, you know, just to be in the top 3, right?" And then a few days later, we get another email saying that we were chosen, and we played at Stockton University, and we opened for them. They gave us the first 40 minutes of the show. I think we
Wow.
did 7 or 8 songs, and it was wonderful. So, like, just to be chosen and to play with somebody who won 14 Grammys was like something else. And and we also played at other venues like that. We opened up for another blues band, and then they liked it. It's called the place is called the Lizzie Rose Music Room, which is an awesome place for to see a concert. And so they invited us back. And this year on March 29th, they gave us our own Saturday night because
Wow.
they enjoyed us so much the first time around when we were just an opening act for somebody else. So they gave us our own night. So these are like pretty cool things, you know, that are happening. We're currently looking for an agent or manager because I'm doing most of this work myself, and it takes a lot of time to send your stuff out, to get venues, so it's very time consuming, and
Yes.
so I'm looking for an agent. Hopefully, to have one soon within the next couple of months.
Now, just like we have all the good things that happen in our careers, it's always that downside. You be like, yes, I did this so well, I got this, but then you have that challenging side. So, as an artist in music and being in the music field, especially since technology has taken over now, you can do things with your phone. You're streaming and
Hmm.
you're only getting paid a cent for, your music. What is your most challenging part about being in music?
Yeah, I think two things really. Number one is like keeping your musicians, because the most talented musicians are drawn in a lot of different directions. So I have people wanting to steal my musicians all the time. So keeping them. We lost a drummer already. Um, so that's kind of like the just dealing with people, and when you're a band, you really have to be a family. Like I don't know, how do you think the Rolling Stones stay together for so many years, right? Because you have to enjoy being around each other, right?
Right.
Um, but the other thing is, like you mentioned, is the whole technology of everything that goes into making music, to recording, to getting your music out there, to not getting paid. I finally got a check for all the streams that we got, and our song "Wayfaring Stranger" has 26,000 uh, hits on Spotify. I'm thinking, cool, right? I finally get a check for $350 from all the different streaming platforms for thousands of people listen to our songs, and we got three, and we're supposed to
Robbery.
split that between four people. So
Right.
uh, streaming is not the way to make money, and that's why concerts cost so much nowadays, because that's the only way musicians can make money is through their concerts and
Right.
selling t-shirts, hats and stuff. But yeah, but it's not, you can't really sell your music. No one has a CD player anymore, right?
No.
They don't even make cars with CD
Don't make
players.
cars that way. Exactly. Wow.
Exactly. So it's hard to sell your music. You have to perform. That's the only way to make money.
Wow. So now,
Yeah.
like, if we look back in time and we look at how music used to be, music used to be where you go into the studio, you stay in there for hours, you record until you get it right, and then you have a whole team that's listening to these things to make sure that it's a hit. Then you have people selling CDs. Hey, you want to listen to my music? You want to, do this, and then you're having it. Back then record labels was big too. People want to be
Right.
signed to record labels. But now, thinking about the trends and how people want you to jump on the trends, and this is how you become famous or this is how you become well known. Looking back at that, do you think that the impact is more on lyrics, the beat, or a combination of both?
Yeah, I think it depends on the genre, right? So so in some genres the beat is very important. For what we do, it's melody and lyrics, you know. So it's the poetry of the song, but also the melody that goes along with the song. A melody could carry the song even if the lyrics are terrible, And you can think of some songs that you hum, it's stuck in your head. The lyrics are real goofy, but that it's stuck in your head, right? And you're
Right.
so sometimes the melody is that powerful, right? So for us, it's definitely melody and lyrics together. Yeah,
I agree because if I hear a song and I hear the first few seconds of that song and it doesn't appeal to me, then I'm skipping it. Now I'm not
right.
even giving the lyrics a chance because I didn't like how it sounded when it came on. So I tell every
That's
artist that
right.
come across the platform, I'm like, the music and the melody does matter because you got to catch them
Yeah.
at first. You got to catch them and
Yeah.
then
I
draw
saw
them
an
in.
interview. Yeah. I saw an interview with Sting, and he said, if you don't surprise me in the first 30 seconds, he says, I'd go to the next song. And that's the attention span of the day and age. He wants to be surprised. Something's got to happen musically for him to keep listening to that track.
It
So
has to. It
that's the
has to.
world we're living in.
It is. It
Yeah, I
is.
wonder if like a Bob Dylan or Neil Young would would make it today, because they're a lot about their lyrics. Melody too, but like Bob Dylan was about his lyrics. He was a storyteller, he was a poet, and most people wouldn't have the patience to sit through
Mhm.
like the song "Hard Rain's Gonna Fall." It's like a 7 or 8 minute song, which he
Right.
tells a story, and it's a really cool story, but you have to have the patience to sit there and listen to it. And that's not the
But
world we
it's
live in now.
interesting. It's interesting that you said that because songs back then were like 7, 8 minutes. Now songs are like 2, 3 minutes. So they're
Right.
short. Time you get into is good. Good is gone. So that's a
Yes, our
difference.
promoter tells us keep it under 3 minutes. You know, Try to hang right around that 3 minute mark, and leave the people wanting more. That's the thing. So yeah, that's where we live now.
That's the world we live in. You're right. So what
Hmm.
role do you think music plays in healing and mental health, and have you experienced that in your own life?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think for healing, I was in a bad car accident, in a motorcycle accident in 2008, where I broke all my ribs and my leg. My whole body was. I was in the hospital for a long time. It broke the sac around my heart, punctured my liver. Yeah, I was messed up. The I beam on the highway that holds a guardrail on, as I flew off the motorcycle, hit me right in the chest. And after I went to I had surgeries, and months later, they let me go home. And yeah, I was listening to music constantly, all different kinds, spiritual music. I was listening to Pink Floyd and Shine On You Crazy Diamond, because yes, there's a healing quality to music. It puts you mentally and spiritually in a certain place, where you can become quiet, and you could go within yourself, and you could also, different people believe in God, don't believe in God, but I believe it takes you to a spiritual place. Music can definitely do that for you. Yeah, so, and it did that for me. And even, you hear a song, an older song, and it takes you back to a certain time. Oh, I remember I was in middle school when that came out, or
Mm-hmm.
I was in 11th grade. You could like name what grade or how old you are when that song came out. And because it does something, it sparks something in your mind, or an emotion, or, oh, I don't like that song because I was dating that person at the time and it went really bad. And that song reminds me of that. And even though it's a good song, I don't want to hear it anymore. You know what I mean? Because it brings you
Right.
back to,
It
to a
takes you
certain
back to
place.
the memories and that pain and whatever you was dealing with at that time. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. I never, music is therapeutic. I do know that. But I never thought about it the way that it can put you in a time and a place in your life that was either a pain or it was a happy time. I never thought about it that
Sure.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like
So
I believe it or not,
are you still with me? Uh-oh.
Uh, the ones that are kind of in a minor key, they sound sad, but they're so melodic. And because Christmas was always a happy time for me as a kid, but for some people it is not. And I have a friend, and she goes, I hate Christmas music. And I was like, why? She goes, because Christmas was always so miserable in my house. See, so the Christmas songs brings her back to an unhappy time. Where for me, I was like, I love those melodies, and I love to either do them in a different way, fingerstyle guitar, or rock out to them, take the melody and change it and mold it to make it more like me or what my band would come up with. So,
See, that's interesting because Christmas is like my favorite holiday. So for her to get sad and not want to listen to Christmas music, but some people
right.
get around the holidays and don't want to hear Christmas music because they probably lost somebody around that time period, and they're
Yes.
just not in that mood for it. So I can
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely agree and relate to that. So we're
Yeah.
down to our last question. This is an out of the box.
All
Well, it's
right.
not really an out of the box question. Well, yeah, I do have two for you. So I'll take that back. I got two. So this one
Okay.
is how do you want to be remembered as an artist?
Good question. Oh man, you're asking tough ones. How do I want to be remembered? I just want people to enjoy what I do, and see the love of what I do, what we do, just come out. And if people are, when we're playing out and you catch somebody's eyes in the audience that is like nodding their head like this, or you can tell that whatever you did or said or sang touched someone, that just does it all for me, you know? And that's really the goal. Uh, and that's why I started writing. Started writing children's books too. So I my last children's book is called I Have Questions. It's about a brother and a sister who go on a journey and they want to find out if Santa Claus is real or not. So it's a children's Christmas book, and it's called I Have Questions. and you can look it up under my name. And if you send me your address, I'll send you one for free. Um, and then I have other ones that, I want to touch people's hearts. I'm writing one on divorce for kids, one on loss, about the loss. It starts out with the loss of a pet, but it could be the loss of anyone in your life. Things that kids would have to deal with, bullying and diversity. So I have those four. That's my goal for this year, to come up with those 4 books that deal with each of those things. Because these are things that kids go through, and sometimes us adults, we just don't know how to talk about or how to comfort children, and they don't quite understand it.
Mhm.
So I want that through my books, through my music. One other thing I might say is I really love taking an older song and reinterpreting it. And people say, "Oh, I know that song, but I never heard it that way before." And then that gives me a lot of joy too. Like, ooh, I remember that song, but I never heard it done like that. So that's really cool when that happens.
Love it.
So
Yes, you definitely need to get those books out there, because you're right. Children go through things that my children went through, things that I didn't go through as a child. And
right,
so when they went through it, I didn't quite know how to deal with it because I never went through it as a child. And it's just,
right,
the world is just different now. Things are different. People are different. Children are cruel now too. So things are just different.
sure. Yeah, I
Just
listen to a
different.
lot of videos, and I read a lot of stuff before I write the book. So, like this one on loss, the book is called "Where Is Ralphie Now?" Ralphie is the dog that the child lost and loved his pet and lost that pet, and it's painful to lose a pet that you love. And but I do a lot of research beforehand. See, well, what jest? Did I lose you for a minute or no? We're
Yeah,
back.
I lost you for a second. I'm still here.
Yeah, I
You
just
have to
try to
repeat
take
it.
all that information and put it together, something that the child could understand. So
Awesome. I
that's my
love it.
goal anyway.
I love it. So now this is the out of the box question. If
Okay.
you could have a moment to have a conversation with your 18-year-old self right now, what would you tell yourself at 18?
Mm, so that oh man, you ask good questions. So not like something like, hey, invest in Microsoft or Apple, right? Not like that.
No,
um,
some advice.
yeah, I think I would tell myself to start earlier investing in the lives of other people, right? Because at 18, 19, 25 years old, everything is really about you know? And, but to explore that art and that writing or whatever your niche is, but you do it for others, you know? You do it to make other people happy. Have an eye on, how can I make this planet a better place? What little part, out of all these millions and billions of people on this planet, what little part can I do to touch the lives of the people around me, to make this place better, make other people's lives better? But start at a younger age, because it pays off. And
Right.
you may find your niche that way. It may be working with children, maybe working in the inner city ministry, which I was involved in for a long time. Um, my wife and I, we bought a house right in the inner city of New Brunswick, and we were the only white people for a square mile. And we started a kids ministry right in the inner city that kind of blew up, and we had so many kids wanting to come to this that we had to recruit other volunteers to help us, because these kids were hungry, beautiful kids,
Incredible.
smart kids, but were living in a place where they felt like, there's no way out of here. Like, what, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
and I think, the younger you start doing that, the more of an impact you can have, the more
Yes.
beautiful your life will be.
I agree. I agree. But we when we're young, we're hard headed, and we don't think
Hmm.
about a lot of things that we should be thinking about, and we don't listen either. So we have to learn the lessons as we go along, and that's the hard part about growing up. If we all
Right,
can think that way at a young age, like you said, the bigger the impact. If you were thinking like you're thinking now, then.
right.
So I agree. I agree with
And
that.
and your mistakes are, we all have those ugly parts of our life, that we wish we didn't do that, or we didn't.
Hmm.
Okay, it's true. Be real with it, and then say, you know what? But that's not going to hold me back. I'm gonna
Exactly.
learn from that. I'm gonna be a better person. And everybody has those things. That you're not alone. You
I
did
agree.
you did something dumb. Okay, admit it, and then let's move on. Let's get better because of it.
That's it. You got to learn from your mistakes. Just don't do it again. Learn from it.
Right. Hmm.
But some people have to go through it at least a good 2-3 times before they learn that lesson. But
Oh
at least they
yeah,
learned
me
it.
myself. Some of us are very slow learners.
Yes, yes, yes. So now we're down to what I like to call the BTS 30 seconds of fame. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do your countdown, and then when we come back, you're gonna be on the platform by yourself. And this is your time to shine. Tell everybody where they can find your books. Tell everybody where they can find music by you, what's coming up next for you. Anything you want to
Hmm.
tell them to further shine the light on you. This is your time to shine. So after the countdown, you got the platform, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Well, thanks for this opportunity. You can find my music on our website, which is danielkeisermusic.com. But if you just put in danielkeiser.com, it will also pop up. Keiser's Keiser. A lot of people spell it a different way. So it's Daniel Keiser, Keiser.com. And you can find our music there. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook and all those things. Just look up Daniel Keiser, Daniel Keiser Music. Um, Also, my children's books can be found on Book Baby is our publisher. So if you go to bookbaby.com and just search Daniel Keiser, you can see my children's books. This one is a Christmas children's book that helps parents deal with when your child finds out that Santa Claus isn't real. And that could be a real uncomfortable time for a parent and a child. And it helps navigate that kind of sticky situation for parents and kids. It's a positive story, it's an inclusive story, and has a real happy ending. So, yeah, I hope you check me out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a guest. I have really enjoyed this conversation. If there's anything that I can shine the light on you further, like if you're coming out with an album or whatever it is you would like me to advertise for you, we're locked in
Mhm.
forever. If there's something that I can do to help you get to the next level, I got your back
Thank you so
completely.
much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And if you
And
you send me your address or email me your address, I'll send you a book.
okay, absolutely. I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna send it to you.
All right. Thank
Okay.
you, Nikki.
You're welcome. And thank you to everyone else out there tuning into this amazing episode with Mr. Daniel Keiser. I said it right. And so y'all make sure that y'all have to follow him on all his platforms. I'm gonna stroll it again so you can make sure you follow him on all platforms and support him on all the streams for his music. That piano player, man, was bad on those keys. Did y'all hear that snippet? I'm telling you, just wonderful. So you got to make sure you tune in to all that he has coming. He has an album coming out in March 2025. He hasn't named it yet, but it will be coming out. And if I get the information, I'll keep everybody informed so we can win together. I'm always a believer in doing things together because I feel like if we do it together, we can get there faster. We got to realize that we need people to get where we need to go because people support us. That's how we get there. And when we learn that valuable lesson, everybody's going to win and win fast. So remember that your voice matters, your life matters, and whatever you're trying to do in this life, you can definitely do it. You just got to believe that you can do it and you can achieve it. Everything is all about mindset. So until next time, y'all continue to break the silence and use your voice for something good. Later.
Hi, my name is Daniel Keiser. This song is called It's Not What It Was. It's a song that came to me in a dream. I dreamed that my daughter was getting onto a train. I was helping her with her bags, and as the train took off, she pressed her hand against the window. And I woke up thinking, what is that about? And it was at a time where she was going off to college. And she went off to college and actually never came back after that. Not that we don't see her anymore, but she started living her own life. And so I immediately got up from the bed and I started writing lyrics and picked up my guitar. And this is the song that came out. Saw you off that day as the train rolled in. Man took your bags away, would I see you again? Didn't say a word as you got on board. The steam was all I heard, never felt this before. Can't get out of my mind the sight I saw last. Your hand touched my heart as it pressed the window glass. I don't believe in tarot cards, I don't read the signs. Never wished on the stars, they've never been on my side. Stood there for seemed like an hour or two, till the black clouds seemed to fade from my point of view. Long lonely walk back to an empty heart. You sealed my fate, thoughts of where you are. When I walk alone. When I come back, I'm still not at home. I don't believe in tarot cards, I don't read the signs. Never wished on the stars, they've never been on my side. Yesterday I'll smile because it is what it is, it's just not what it was. I guess today I'll smile because it is what it is, it's just not what it was.